What's up, everybody? Team 3D on deck. About to show you how I make my meals for today. Let's do it. Alright, so first you're going to want to get your containers out and you want to get all your food out. Step 1, cut up your ingredients. This lettuce is so big, I normally like to use about half of a piece for one meal because I have so much stuff that I actually put inside the meal. So I like to use half, like I said, and so just cut it up and divide it evenly among the containers. Alright, so it should look something like this when you're finished. Now remember, you can always use more ingredients if you have a bigger appetite, or maybe you don't have as much stuff as I do that I put in there. But I also like to eat every 2 hours, so I don't really need a lot because I'm eating so much throughout the day. So I don't want to have like a really full stomach and like having to eat every 2 hours, you know, like having to force myself to eat. So that's why I like to keep the portions small, you know. Alright, the next ingredient I like to put in there is spinach. Put it on your cutting board, divide it out. I'm probably going to use more than this, but you know, just like, you know, maybe like 5-6 pieces of spinach, depending on how big they are, you know, because like I said, you don't really want too much, about like, you know, this much or so, I would say. Alright, so as you can see, I have my spinach divided up here. Alright, so the next ingredient we have here is a cucumber. I like cucumbers in my salad. They're also like 80 to 90% water. So, you know, it helps you get your water that way. And I just like to use one slice, you know. And another thing about the lettuce, too. I use Romanian lettuce. Sometimes I use red leaf lettuce. Sometimes I use green leaf lettuce. It doesn't matter. As long as you don't use iceberg lettuce. That stuff is garbage, man. It's basically just water. I mean, I know water is good for you, but if you're going to eat a plant, if you're going to eat vegetables, you should at least use something that has some good nutritional value. And any other lettuce besides green leaf lettuce is a good choice. So just try to stay away from iceberg lettuce if you can. Alright, so this next ingredient is probably my favorite one that I always love in a salad, and it is raw broccoli. So I usually like to use maybe a bushel or two, depending on how big they are. And also too, instead of just using the bushels and wasting this whole thing, what I like to do is, like, see, this bushel was right here. Well, after I cut it off, I kind of cut off a section of the broccoli as well, or just do the end, you know, whatever, and maybe more than that, you know, whatever. And I'll chop this up and put it in there with it, so that way I use the whole broccoli, you know. Okay guys, so it should look a little something like this when you're finished. Another thing too I forgot to mention about the broccoli, you should always try to eat your vegetables raw. And it actually, some of the nutrients and vitamins are actually taken out of the vegetables when they're cooked. I mean, just try it sometimes, you know, it might surprise you how they taste raw, you know. It's a whole different taste. I mean, look at carrots. You eat a carrot raw and you cook a carrot, it's like something totally different. So just give it a try, you know, you might like it. Alright, so the next ingredient we have is carrots. Alright, so it should look a little something like this when you're finished. Alright, so the final ingredient for vegetables that I like to add is tomatoes. Alright, so it should look a little something like this when you're finished. Alright, so the next ingredient I got here is a secret ingredient I like to add in my salads. Almonds. That's right, it's pretty good. Got some nice healthy fats, you know what I mean? Gives your salad a nice crunch. I mean, you already have carrots and cucumbers, but you know, you have to put a little bit. Okay, so the last ingredient I like to add for the quote-unquote salad part of my meals is olive oil. I use extra virgin, robust flavor. You don't have to use a lot either, because man, I put like maybe like half of a cap, and I mean, it's just like, you can taste it good. It just gets on all the lettuce, you know. It's just a real nice thing to use to kind of give your salad some zest, you know. Alright, so now that we have the salad, the vegetables out of the way, next you want to grab your meat. Alright, so as you can see, I had just enough for my 5 meals. Most of it might, you know, I eat 5 to 6 meals, so like I said too, you don't want to put a lot because you're going to be eating every 2 hours, and we're also going to be adding beans in a second. Alright, so finally we're going to add the beans, and I'm going to use both of these because as you can see, I don't really have much left of these black beans. And I mean, like I said, you don't really want to put much, you know, maybe like, you know, a palm full, you know, maybe a little more, because like I said, I mean, look how much you have here, and you're going to be eating every 2 hours, so you know, that's good, you know, this much is going to be plenty. Alright, so once you add your beans, you want to mix this shit all up, you know, mix it up real good. and put the containers on it. Grab a Walmart bag, throw it in that bitch. You know, unless you have a shitty Kroger bag. No, I'm just fucking with you. And you're ready for the day. And also too, you know, if you want your you know, like brown rice or some wheat bread or whatever, you can add that. I'm actually trying to cut down on my carbs right now, so that's why I don't have any kind of bread or rice or anything. But you know, you can always add that. Alright guys, so I almost forgot the most important step of all. Clean up your shit after you're finished. Nobody wants a dirty ass kitchen. Gotta have discipline in the kitchen as well. You know, rinse off your bowls so that way whenever you go to clean it, it won't stick. I hate when the food sticks to the freaking bowl. Clean off your shit. Grab a wet rag. Wipe down the counter if you made a mess. Do something, man. Alright guys, so that's it. Hope you liked my video. Hope I inspired you to go out there, make some crazy creations of your own. You know, get creative, mix it up. But I'm actually late for work right now, so I gotta go. Dominance, discipline, direction, even in the kitchen. Team 3D out.